Bruce Wayne may appear to be a wealthy playboy, but beneath this facade, his true identity is that of the Batman, waging an endless war against crime. Join the Caped Crusader in Batman The Audio Adventures, the first scripted audio original featuring Batman and his villainous rogues gallery in a world premiere story of life and death in Gotham City, debuting exclusively on HBO Max. This rollicking adventure, told across 10 episodes, is written and directed by Emmy winner Dennis McNicholas, includes devilishly delightful original music by Doug Bossy, and performances by Rosario Dawson, John Leguizamo, Chris Parnell, Melissa Villaseñor, Seth Meyers, Jason Sudeikis, Brooke Shields, Fred Armisen, and many, many more. Go to hbomax.com/Batman Audio Adventures for more and stream Batman, The Audio Adventures only on HBO Max.
But their story didn't end there.
How could there have been only one? And he's back in business.
Is the worst idea in history of bad ideas.
Part 2 is the final chapter in the violent history.
This time, it's personal.
Mary, we invite you into our circle. If that's you, blow out the candles.
Oh my God.
This is a scam.
She deserved it, Mom.
It's your job to stand at the curtains and not attack the clients. And you, young lady?
What's a scam?
Woke up this morning feeling
You are so weird.
Does she have a lot of problems?
It's nothing too concerning.
What's this?
New prop for work. Spirit, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And we can see you.
Who are you talking to, Doris?
Daddy, are you there? Who are you?
Did you see her writing this?
No.
Because it's Polish.
Doris, who did this?
I'll show you. Are you here?
Something is happening that we can't understand.
I'm concerned about your girl. The spirit world is dangerous.
What are you doing? I'm not doing it. Stop it! Do you know what it feels like to be strangled to death?
Something is wrong with Doris. She's experiencing something amazing.
I believe she is channeling powers we do not understand.
Doris. Doris! Are you there? Are you there?
Yes.
If you like evil board games, creepy little girls, fortune tellers, old Nazi German doctor ghosts, money in the walls, priests, grief, dead boyfriends, Mike Flanagan, the company Hasbro, and looking through Ouija board glass board pieces, I wrote board twice, then you'll like the sequel we're talking about this week, Ouija.
Origin of Evil.
There's no two, right?
No, I
Ouija.
think it's just Origin of Evil.
Ouija. How do you say Ouija?
Is it Ouija or Luigi?
Now I'm thinking Luigi.
Yeah, that's what I kept saying yesterday.
Mario and Luigi, Origin of Evil.
Chris Pratt, Charlie Day.
We're talking Ouija. Oh, great. Now I can't say it. What is it?
Ouija!
Ouija 2, Origin of Evil by Mike Flanagan, released in 2016, the year after our pod came out. Why didn't we talk about it then? My name's Manuel.
Hey, I'm Andrew. What's up? It's John.
And I guess this is a horror film. Oh, here we are.
Yeah, we just guess we're giving you you wanted more of the horror month, and so we extended it this
To
year.
2023.
This year, October is 5 weeks long.
Should I release this in October, or did this come out like in
Nah,
a
just
weird
right
time?
after. Just right after they're done with the high. Just when they think we're done.
Yeah.
We stick it to them.
Just like the ghosts in Ouija 2. We're back. So okay, it's November.
Yeah.
Welcome to November for me.
Happy gobble gobble. Me and Emmanuel are probably balls deep in Disney right now.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to say in Turkey.
In Walt Disney. Okay.
We're extending the Spooktoberfest because November, in my opinion, spookiest month of the year.
And
November.
there's also not a lot of Thanksgiving sequels, Thanksgiving Day sequels that happen.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And,
So
and you
it's
know
tough.
what? Who knows? This is set, it looks like in California somewhere. It could be November in this movie. Who knows?
Probably.
Right?
It looks cold. It looks like it's
a little
sweater weather.
cold. So that's why we're talking about it, okay? So stop writing your letters to us. Oh boy. Before we dive into this, because Ouija Origin of Evil is a sequel to another Ouija.
It's a prequel.
Now I'm saying Ouija a lot. I actually tried to find a Ouija board for this record. I'm not even joking. I went to 3 stores.
Sold out.
They didn't even sell them there. And I looked online. I was like, why don't they sell Ouija boards at Walmart or Target?
Oh yeah, because of the devil.
I thought they
do you
sell them
think
like
that's
at. I think they sell them like at. I've seen them at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, I
I'm
told
assuming.
John.
Maybe I should go to Barnes
I
and
told
Noble.
Barn and Noble. I told John that the comic book store I work at, we sold the Stranger Things one. For sure.
Really?
Yeah.
A Stranger Things Ouija board.
Yeah, because remember how they write all the letters on the wall with the Christmas lights?
Yeah.
That's what the Ouija board is based off of. So
I legit went onto Walmart.com, Target.com, and then went into a Walmart and a Target IRL, not .com. I guess the
Store.
.com.
It's kind of like Amazon, but not online, and they don't deliver to you, but you walk inside of it. And I asked the people, and they're like, "Oh, we don't sell those here." And I was like, "God, weird. Something's going on."
They started
think,
blessing you. Like, oh fuck!
I did run in there and I was like, "Where's the Ouija board? I need it right now."
Where's the Ouija board?
They do sell them at Party Central, and they're sold out of those.
That sounds like something like you would get like at a Spencer's gift shop or something. You know, like
It
something
sounds
like, that.
that's the reason
Hot Topic.
why
Hot
Has-
Topic.
Oh,
Get
we
it
should have
there.
gone Hot Topic.
It sounds like that's the reason why Hasbro keeps making this thing because they sell out all the time and you can't find them.
It's crazy. But anyways, so we don't have an IRL Ouija with us, but don't worry, I did bring
He did makeshift the one at the very end of the movie that you see.
that's true. Spoiler alert, jumping to the end, all we need is a knife and we can Ouija it up, baby.
The corner of a
Yeah.
That was
floorboard.
I thought that was actually really cool.
That's a really good idea.
It was a good idea. I was like, oh,
good.
shit.
I was like, damn, you should have done this at the beginning of the movie.
We can take Ouija everywhere. And that's kind of
All
the
you
lesson.
all you need to know is the English alphabet.
So I want to ask y'all before we talk about the first Ouija movie, have y'all ever done the Ouija board thing? I know it's a board game. I don't know if it's popular, if it's just maybe taboo and we all talk about it so much, but did y'all ever conjure some spirits?
I think I was like maybe scared of
He
it
was
as
like,
a kid.
I think I was about 3 when I did it. Yeah.
It's just that's all you hear whenever you grow up like Catholic. It's just like these things are like it's like a
portal.
Yeah,
can
it's like a portal to
summon.
demonic possession or something like that. As you get older, you obviously find out that these things are made by Hasbro and shit. And like
I know. I was like, they
it's
make
a board
Star
game,
Wars toys and Power Rangers.
I've never other than like
God
the fear
damn.
when I was a kid, like I've never actually experienced doing any type of like stuff on a Ouija board.
That's
before.
why I really wanted to get it so we can do it now.
That
on
sounds
the pod.
like a slumber party type of game to play. Like I think it's weird
Like
to play
when
as like
you're-
as an adult.
I feel like you know how like John said, like you're kind of scared about these like when you grow up, especially if you grow up religious and stuff like that. But if you don't, or even when you get older, I feel like that's the appeal. Is like, oh, I'm doing something bad with my friends. Like,
Yeah.
we're breaking the whatever, and like, we don't play by the rules, and we're all, there's 4 of us, 5 of us here. How is this thing gonna take us? And then it scares you, and then you go to sleep in your own separate rooms, and you freak out, and you're like, oh man, I saw this, I saw that. But I feel like that's the appeal. Is John's right? Like it's like a slumber party esque.
We're all together.
Yeah,
I think
like the
that's-
parents are asleep. Let's whip out all of our thick Ouija boards.
I also feel like you're right. It's a communal thing. I mean,
Yeah.
in this movie, and then the first Ouija movie, we see people doing it by themselves, but really part of it is you not knowing who's pushing it.
Yeah.
Who's pushing it? But I guess if you're doing it by yourself, that's really weird.
I think also like it was like debunked like brain games. They try to blindfold all the people who were playing Ouija, and they're like they couldn't play it. Like
yeah, no, they were like completely off.
They were going like
the
off,
board. Like there was no board
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never. Yeah, I have had no. I think again, it's something like I feel like, and maybe this is controversial. Like something. This is a game for like younger folk, like to get scared. Maybe like teens at most. But a board game like that with that much history and taboo, because I think even then, like I think most Christian, churches and Catholic churches still like kind of like that's a no to them.
Yeah, I mean anything to do with this
with afterlife. Yeah.
Oh. Well, in case anyone's wondering, the original Ouija board apparently came out in the 1800s.
We looked up the date,
and they sold it. I mean, I guess as like a parlor game, or I guess like something trivial, like snake oil or something like that. So, and now you can't get it at Target, but you can get it online. And Spirit Halloween stores, I bet, have
probably
Ouija boards all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I was religious growing up, and then I am not religious anymore, which I'm agnostic, that's why I kind of wanted to talk about this movie, because I just wanted an excuse to talk about Mike Flanagan overall. And
this is definitely a backdoor pilot to Midnight Mass,
but that's why I loved the show, because being agnostic it's just a really really cool way of looking at that stuff.
Yeah, and the extremes of
organized religion.
That's why I think a Ouija board never really had an appeal to me, because I'm like, I don't believe it. Like, it's not just that I don't believe in like the higher power of whichever religion, but it's also like the devil too. So it's like you can't just not believe in one and then believe in the other, I guess. But but
I think all of the history that goes behind this Ouija board really does make it like it's kind of weird. There's probably movies before this, but it was like ripe for a
oh my gosh
movie adaptation,
especially
movie adaptation.
I think to that point, Hasbro
having real steel there with the Rock'em Sock'em robots, the iron was hot.
I mean, they've been incredibly brilliant about how they Hasbro's a toy company, and they've been brilliant about
Battleship, the movie with Rihanna,
G.I. Joe, the TV series, Transformers. All of this stuff was their marketing, and you would think, Battleship and Rihanna. Let me buy some Battleship board games. But this is Ouija is so ripe for it. It's a built-in kind of. I guess for us, it's already like folklore for people our age.
It's built-in horror, like what is it, like horror aura? I guess for like
horror aura. Is that the name of a Frozen character? Horror. Well, let's talk about the Ouija movie. The first one was incredibly successful.
I haven't seen it, so this is gonna be dope.
Produced by Michael Bay. It starred.
So it already sucked.
Platinum Dunes, right? I think.
Huge Platinum Dune movie.
And Blumhouse.
And it was a pretty big successful movie. It came out, I think it was the movie for that Halloween. It starred Olivia Cooke, Darren Kagasoff, Douglas Smith. John and I watched some of it today, and I remember watching this, I think like maybe when it came out. I didn't go to the theaters, and it sort of...
Because you were scared.
Because I was too scared. But it sort of revolves around really similar themes to this movie. It's set in the exact same house. It's set with the characters from Ouija 2, or the Ouija Origin of Evil.
Yeah.
But it is about these... I mean, some of it is a little bit like... tropey, I guess, in horror. It is young teenagers who play the game, and one of them dies. And
probably jump scares too, right?
They each die.
So it's Final Destination, essentially.
It's really close to Final Destination. But it was definitely like a kind of a spiritual leaning movie, but very heavy on the premise or the setup of the premise. Like really heavy into being like, this is what there's a scene in this where they're Googling Ouija board and watching a YouTube video about what the Ouija board is. Not in this movie, but in the first Ouija movie. And that's when you're just like, okay, they're trying to build the Ouija-verse, like they're trying to make, and then Thanos is in it.
All 6 boards.
Yeah, with all 6 boards. But let's talk about, I guess we can talk a little bit about, before we talk about this movie specifically. We're never going to talk about this movie, BT Dubs. But let's talk a little, especially now, let's talk about Mike Flanagan a little bit. We've talked Mike Flanagan. Ouija. Before with Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep, yeah.
But I know Midnight Mass just came out, and he's made all the Haunting movies, Oculus, Gerald's Game.
There were shows.
He's actually made a lot of fucking movies, too. I think I just saw, like, Before I Wake is a Mike Flanagan movie.
Wow.
Gerald's Game, which is... the premise sounds kind of crazy. There's Hush, Oculus. I know he's done a lot of stuff that I'm very excited to... Because I'm a now, like, newly... like, you know, official Mike Flanagan. Yeah, Flanagan. I'm excited to check out some of these movies, and Ouija Origin of Evil on paper, like just saying that the title is like, man, you're watching a sequel to a Ouija board movie. But I was pleasantly surprised, like, on how kind of cool this movie was.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, are you a Flanagan fan? Are you what did you say, Flanagan?
A Flanagan.
What about Flana-fan? Nope. Never mind.
Yeah, it sounded like you were saying flan.
He should sell flan. That'd be Flana-flan.
I recently became a fan. I was kind of reluctant at first because I didn't really... I mean, I did like the Haunting shows, which were... I liked the second one more. A little
Bly
bit more
Manor.
Yeah, and it was really, really cool, and I think a really awesome modern interpretation of something that has been... told and retold time and time again.
Especially Hill House, right? Like, I feel like 9 times.
Where it's like, damn, and now, like, I don't know why they didn't let him do the Dark Universe, because now he's, spoiler alert for Midnight Mass. I'm giving you a little bit of time, and I'm even, like, breaking...
If you haven't seen Netflix's Midnight Mass...
Just turn it off for, like, 5 seconds, or, like, put it on mute
Tap
for,
the
like,
skip
5 seconds.
Well, the mute would just... Oh, I see. Just skip forward
mute for
3 times.
Mute for, like, 10 seconds.
How if you keep, like, doing
this? I know. He's still talking about how much he's going to skip. But for real, skip the next 10 seconds now. But they are vampires in there, so it's really crazy.
Shit.
That he's modernizing all these different I don't even know what to call them. Like, monsters, and he's redefining on what they can be, which is cool because he doesn't really adhere to these tropes that have made them so flat, I think, recently, and it just oversaturated, I think. So he really won me over with the way he approaches things like that creatively, and it's the same thing here where with Ouija that I think he does it the best with what he can, and it's a movie about a fucking game that's made by Hasbro.
Yeah,
it's not going to be the cream of the crop.
I guess he made the Shining reboot. I was gonna say this is maybe not reboot, sequel, but this I was thinking was maybe his biggest like movie. Because it is a sequel and it is tied to a larger franchise, the Ouija-verse, like I said before. But yeah, I think Flanagan's fantastic. He's obviously hugely influenced by Stephen King, who he's also adapted a lot of Stephen King's movies.
Yeah.
And I think he has this great sense of horror coming from the characters, like almost exuding from them and them being kind of the reason that this genre thing is happening. And I think that's really special, especially when you watch a lot of movies where people are just thrown into a horror movie, basically. Like the stuff is happening.
Like Ouija, the first Ouija.
Like the first Ouija, literally. Like it's just happening to the people, but in a lot of Flanagan stuff, it's happening because of the people.
Yeah.
And not in that weird MacGuffin way of they're like, oh, they said the curse, so now it's over. But there's a real drive and a sense of these people falling and making these darker decisions, including Ouija 2. Yeah. Which is which is
like a little kind of like a most of his movies kind of like, even this one, deal with like at least the ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen Hush or like Gerald's Game or anything, but Ouija and like Dr. Sleep and the Hill House or like the Haunting stories and even Midnight Mass deal with like like the effects of death and what that has on the individual, like whether it be like a an individual character or maybe like a family.
Yeah.
Most of his movies, they're kind of family oriented.
There's a dynamic.
Yeah, family dynamic. And especially Dr. Sleep. I think I don't want to talk too much about Dr. Sleep because we have a whole episode on that. But Dr. Sleep is the more I think about that movie, the more it makes me want to watch it again because of like how like the execution could have just gone so wrong. And I think we all assumed that when it was in theaters, because I skipped it in theaters, and but the fact that he was able to get that down and then make it like kind of like a deep horror movie in a way, was pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think the commonalities of like grief, addictions, childhood trauma, religion. These are all things that circle around what Flanagan does. And again, Ouija 2 has, or Ouija Origin of Evil has a ton of that in it too, which is a really big diversion from the first Ouija movie, which almost has none of that, which is really, really interesting. Well, let's talk about Ouija 2, Origin of Evil. This
Ouija 0.
Ouija, yeah, that serves as a prequel and a sequel to the first Ouija movie. I'm glad I did watch the first Ouija movie because I didn't realize that Flanagan was kind of boxed in a lot by this movie.
He was written into a corner.
He was written into a corner because the storylines and the endings of the people in Ouija Origin of Evil are unveiled in the first movie. Like, they talk about these characters, how they, I guess, got stuck in that house, how evil they were, the whole thing with the mouth being sewn shut, like that's from the first Ouija movie, and I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that either.
So, sure. I mean, I was like, man, a lot of the things that he had to work with were written for him already, and he still kind of made something new out of it. But what did you think, Andrew, about Ouija 2, Origin of Evil? Did you find the origin?
I guess I didn't. Like I said earlier, I didn't really watch the first one, nor do I have any intention of watching it. The only reason I watched this one, to be honest with you, is because Mike Flanagan.
Because you're a Flanagan fan.
Wrote and directed it, and so
edited it.
Oh yeah, I know, which is crazy because he does the same thing for Midnight Mass.
He's in Midnight Mass too. He has 4 cameos.
And I mean, there's a lot of these tropes that, and it's really, really cool to see, like, because most people look at his modern stuff, but it's really cool to see, like, just the thing that he's like, that him for now. Like, you're like, oh, this is where it started, or this is where it obviously is way before I even discovered. He even made most of his stuff, so it's really, really cool. Where it's like, oh, the same actors that he always uses, and you're like, oh,
his repertory theater.
I love watching these actors, and I've grown attached to them and stuff like that. So I'd be mad if they weren't in these movies, or just simple, like, little things that like the white eyes, you get that from, like, Dr. Sleep reuses those later, and things like that. And so really, really cool. Man, I love the way he writes his characters, I think, and that's what ultimately what drives this movie, for sure. But in Midnight Mass, like, it's just, I couldn't imagine being an actor, like, on the call sheet and they're like, damn, it's just a monologue where you're talking to me and I don't say shit for like 20 minutes, and all I have to cry, like, based off of
Sophia and I watched that episode of Midnight Mass where they're talking about what happens after they die, and I was like, there's no way she's gonna answer the question after he just did that long.
And he does,
which is crazy because, like, he talks to her for so long, and then he tells a story, and then someone else is talking to him in the story for so long, and you're like, holy fuck. And it's just so natural, and he's one of the, I think, like, between him and like Tarantino, I think they got, like, pretty solid dialogue writing skills, and that I've never seen before. And you can kind of see the origins of that in this movie
of Evil.
And again, he is working with what he has. Where I'm watching the movie now, and I'm like, this is so ridiculous that she went out and bought it, and this is the thing that, like, is terrorizing her or whatever. And I do like the concept of, like, being someone who fakes that whole, like, the psychic medium thing.
Well, that subversion's kind of good too in this, where you're like, oh, okay.
And so there's a reason as to why they're buying it. It's not just like, oh, like, I kind of want to use it in my craft to, like, help people and stuff like that. And it ends up kind of biting them in the butt.
And it kind of gives them a reason why they're more susceptible to it. Like, they believe it very quickly because they traffic in it. So it's not like a random person that just it's just happening to them, but they're like, they're surrounded by it. So
exactly. And if you watch The Haunting of Hill House, of Hill House, it's the same thing where, like, the ghosts are attached to a place where this crazy stuff occurred and happened, and they're just kind of like, there permanently. And I never really understand that, because they're like, if you move, they'll be there, and I'm like, for real? Damn. Like, usually, and then everybody who buys a fucking Ouija board is just going to start seeing shit.
Yeah.
But,
well, the first Ouija movie, it's everywhere, baby.
Yeah, and so, exactly. And so, like, that's just crazy to me that, like, Hasbro's just like, we're just going to keep making this fucking game. But
why do people keep buying it? Damn.
Yeah. I love on how creepy it tries to be. I kind of didn't find it too scary, but is this PG-13?
Yes, I believe so.
And that's why I think ultimately they do the, hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. like 50 times in this whole movie with a creepy little girl with the wide eyes, and she's just whispering, "Super fucking and you're like, damn, what the fuck is she saying? Hit him with that gossip." And so that's, I think, is as creepy as it gets.
Yeah.
But
there's still, you're right. There's a sense of that kind of modern, still like insidious, conjuring type demon. Looking gimp.
Yeah, and oh shit,
like American Horror Story. There's a literal gimp in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Creeping around.
I think Mike Flanagan is a little better when he's more in control of projects, and he's not, and I say that, but he knocked it out of the park with Dr. Sleep, and it is a sequel to existing things that are different mediums, which is bonkers. But I actually enjoyed, especially when we get to like the twist towards the end of it all, or when shit starts hitting the fan, not the twist. I really started to dig it a little more, but I was kind of rolling my eyes through it, just because I think the concept is just rather silly.
Yeah.
But
it's also very predictable. Like it's going for the little girl in the house. Like the spirit is like.
And I've seen this in The Exorcist. You know what I'm saying?
There are some tropes. Yeah, I mean, to your defense, like there are some familiar tropes in this that kind of like, okay, yeah.
It's like, she's running on the walls on all four limbs. Like, I get it. Like on the roof. Yeah, that's creepy. Yeah, okay, cool.
He does subvert some of those things though. Like I think, like a dude hanging from his neck who's still alive and grabs someone is like a really cool scene. Like a little cool fake out scare scene.
Yeah.
I think, so I like this movie actually a lot. I was very surprised at how much I actually liked it, considering that what we were going into, what the hell the movie's about. Because again,
it's a Hasbro movie.
It's a Ouija board movie, and so it's just like, I think when the trailers were coming out, like back in the day, like when there was a first movie, I was like, okay, I get it. Then there was a second movie announced, and I was like, really? Well, I guess the first one did really well.
It did. It made 9 figures, which I was surprised with when I saw the actual.
Yeah, and I think it's due to the marketing and the fact that it's a mainstream Ouija movie.
It's a Blumhouse, so it costs
Blumhouse,
like $5 million.
Yeah,
which is something for some of us. Damn.
But I think this movie won me over immediately with its aesthetic. Like it's totally, from watching the first 20 minutes of the first movie before we started recording, it is nothing like that. I think that first movie is obviously very modern. Like, it's just, it's set in
you're right, though. There's something really special about this movie and quite a few horror films that are almost period pieces, too.
Yes, it's a period piece. Yes, exactly. And then, but even right off the bat, like the title sequence that just or like the title screen, which it looks like very old school. Like it just, it shows the title and then it has the copyright at the bottom.
The cigarette burns.
The cigarette burns, which are, I don't know if this is shot on film or not, but you see a lot of cigarette burns.
A lot.
Yeah.
On screen. And Drew was like, it's a stylistic choice, at least for me. I haven't seen this movie more than
I legit thought my copy was bad.
Yeah.
That's good. But that's good.
Like, I was trying to see if like he used them as a marker of some sort. Like anytime that happens, the ghost pops up. Or anytime this happens, something happens.
I think he was just trying to emulate the feel of an old school like 70s or 60s movie, like maybe like something along the lines of Hammer, Hammer horror, where
Exorcist. It happens in Exorcist.
Yeah, like we have like just really cool.
And I will say in Ouija 1, this happens digitally, like as they're looking at footage.
Yeah,
there's like
shit
on the. Yeah. I don't know how they're static on digital. A digital file.
Yeah, they shot on a DV cam.
Yeah, so I bet this is part homage to that too. Except it makes sense if you're shooting on film.
And film, yeah. And so that's what won me over, and the fact that like the story is quite simple. Like it's demon possesses. I don't know if she's a troubled daughter, but I know that they had kind of like, she has as the character itself has a connection to her father that she never really got over or something like that. But very creepy parts. I think like like Drew said, I think the third act is when things start getting in gear and, the creepiness and the scares start getting turned up to 11.
When the priest reveals that, like, hey, you're not communicating with like your dad or anything like that. You're communicating with these people who are telling you what you want to hear, so that you'll do whatever or whatever.
Yeah, and see, that's pretty cool. And even like I think the aesthetic just shines through it. I think the performances, all of these people are Flanagan like alumni.
They're pretty good, right? That little girl did her job. She knew what she had to do.
She got the fucking whitest mouth. I was like, damn. What the
Well,
fuck?
you know that's fake, right?
Oh shit! Oh well, where?
This,
I thought she was like, damn. That's why they were like, she's got a big mouth.
They're all
I thought she was
Hill
just a
House
smart
alumni
ass.
in this one, other than Henry
Yeah.
Thomas, who is in every Flanagan.
Oh yeah, and
like thing.
Did Mike Flanagan direct E.T.? I'm just kidding. He's from San Antonio, right?
Yeah, Henry
San
Thomas.
Antonio
Yeah.
Holmes.
It's cool to see like Lulu Wilson and Elizabeth Reeser as characters here because they play each other in Hill House. Like she's the young version
yeah,
of the,
right.
of the
Yeah.
older one. It's
So
cool to see
good.
them here, and then because they actually do act their heart out here, and it actually works. It's not as awkward as the first 20 minutes that I saw from Ouija.
His wife's in it at the beginning.
His wife, Katie Siegel. Katie Siegel's on it too.
Yeah.
Kate Siegel, I think. Katie Siegel might be someone else. Or Siegel. I'm not sure if I'm mentioning that right. But fun flick. I think it's really fun to and it's PG-13. You don't get a whole lot of cool horror.
Yeah.
when it's PG-13. Like, you have Drag Me to Hell, which I think is like one of the best PG-13 horror movies of all time. But I think this one might be, not that it's, I don't want to compare it because it's apples and oranges, but this one is a good, like, family-oriented horror movie because of its PG-13. It's pretty intense too.
Yeah, you get a lot, and I think that's what works in this. They wanted it to be a totally unrelated to the first one, but Mike Flanagan was against it because he was like, well, he doesn't want people who liked the first one to just be totally left in the dark. So he paid a lot of homage, including setting it in the exact same place, using the characters from
That's a class act too.
That's great. He probably could have done better with, or different with
just like a clean slate.
slate. But I think that, I know that he related this movie to The Changeling a lot, but I also got the sense of The Omen, which is that little kid from, and then all the people hanging themselves in The Omen.
Exorcist.
The Exorcist is a huge, I think, influence on this. And I also just love how the horror escalates. I think we're talking about that final third act, but there isn't really, and the first movie I watched, and I was texting, I was like, man, 30 minutes in, there's a lot of setup and MacGuffin happening, but not much actual like horror on screen much at all. And I feel like that's something.
Like, why are you there if they're not going to?
Yeah, and I think that's something that Mike Flanagan knows is just that sensibility of what the pacing of a horror film is and how it should escalate. Like most films should have a big third act, and that's it leads up to that. And I really enjoyed that. You still get the sense of the grief that he likes to put in his movies, those existential questions about what happens when we die, and then also, there's a father in this as well, who kind of is heroic towards the end in a sad way,
in an unfortunate unsuccessful way,
violent way, and then it gets very demented. In the first Ouija movie, the older daughter is in an insane asylum in the Ouija 1, and this kind of, but in Ouija 1 she it helps her younger sister escape, does that make sense? From
really, but
in the first Ouija movie, she gets the teenagers to let the ghost of her younger sister escape or like be loose on the world. So this movie ends with her in the insane asylum, but calling her younger sister, which is kind of, I guess, what the actual relationship is. It's kind of sick and twisted. Does that kind of make sense? It's weird, but he also ends it at the point of the first movie, which I thought was good because I wasn't expecting that much at all. But I mean, this was a really fantastic movie. I think that the scares are effective. You get a lot of that POV thing. And it's a good movie. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna take a break. We're just gonna play a game. So we are gonna play a fun game. Oh, a game. This is a movie about board games.
Yeah.
And we're about to play a game about board games.
Oh,
Time to play the game.
I thought you were gonna So this is why you were trying to buy a Ouija board beforehand, so you can just. That's the game.
That would have been
We're
the
just
game. We would have conjured up. I forgot the name of. Was there a name? Marcus.
Just Marcus. Yeah, it's a pretty
Black Phillip.
It's a pretty normal name, just Marcus.
Also, the ghost from Paranormal Activity, which I guess there's a sequel coming out next week. Maybe we should do that one too. But it's Toby, and to me was always that's a weird
like
name.
It's an Amish
from The Office.
movie, right? Like it's an Amish set thing. The
new one,
Paranormal Activity.
It's also a Jedi from Star Wars Visions.
Is it really
Amish?
Toby.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant,
I
yeah.
got you.
Hey,
I was like-
you know what? I'm in on this paranormal thing. If it's instead in Amish, how did they film it? What? That doesn't make any. It's just like drawings. The movie is found footage drawings. I'm just kidding. I know we have Amish. Wait, can we have Amish listeners?
I don't know.
Maybe if they're on Rumspringa.
Hello
where they get to leave.
Hello to our Amish listeners.
All right,
if
here's
y'all
what
are
we're
there.
going to play. We're going to play the Not Bored game, BORED. And this is a 3 keyword game. So you're all going to hop on your phones, and I guess
shit.
you're going to text me. And here's, why am I texting? You'll text me your answers, and I got to keep track of the scores somehow over here. But here's how the game is going to work. I'm going to read 3 keywords, and you are going to have to tell me or text me what you think the game is that these keywords are describing. Does that make sense?
No.
And
Say it again.
I'm gonna say 3 words, 3 I would say keywords.
Okay.
And you're gonna text me what game you think that is describing.
I see. Okay.
And
it can be a video game?
No, these
Board
are
game.
board games. These are all board.
These are games you play when you're bored.
No, wait.
Say it again.
It's
No,
a
I'm just kidding.
board
No, I'm just
game.
kidding.
Okay, so I know. Do y'all play board games, or are you into board games? Or
Shit, no. But-
okay, perfect.
Yeah, I know this is gonna be tough.
Yeah, this is gonna be like.
I
I didn't
do-
mean it like as in an offensive way. I just like, yeah, fuck. I only know a few board games, and that's it.
I like playing chess.
I will say this: you have heard of all of these games. These are not like super, these are not super unique games. These are all games that you might play.
Shots fired at all the answers to this game.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the first 3 keywords. And let's see. Should I give points to everyone or whoever texts the right answer first? What do you think would be better?
Whatever.
Whatever's first, but
There's a virtual edition of
John just
Ouija.
is downloading Ouija. How does that work? A digital app called
Just
Ouija?
go like this.
Or fingers
You
on your
say-
phone?
you say, hey, what's up, Siri?
No, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Here's the first 3. Here's what I'll do. I'll give points to all the correct answers. Okay.
okay.
So here's the first 3 keywords: words, letters. 14 points. Words, letters, 14 points. And John and Andrew, you both get the point because that game is Scrabble.
Oh, words with friends.
I was gonna say charades.
Okay. 14 points. That's how many points the word Scrabble is worth on Scrabble.
Whoa.
Meta. Here we go. Here's the next one. And of course, I forgot to say this. You can play at home too.
So text me.
So yeah, text
Text my number.
hit me up. Hit me up after 7 p.m. and on weekends. That's
After
when,
2 a.m.
After 2 a.m. That's when the texts
on
are
my
free.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp me so the FBI doesn't see. Is that how that works? I don't know. Here we
Cash
go.
out me.
Next 3 words. Capitalism. Thimble. Jail.
I feel like we're getting the easy ones out of the way first. aren't we?
Capitalism, thimble.
I already had it at
Jail.
capitalism. I was like, okay.
What board game? What other board game?
He's like,
deals
that's
with
right.
capitalism?
Life.
And Andrew and John, you get the point. It's Monopoly. Okay, should I change this up? Is this too easy?
No. Let's go.
Okay, here we
I'm
go.
assuming it's gonna get.
I
tougher.
like the last one. You're like, we're gonna talk about mustard, and you're like, what the fuck?
Colonel Mustard. Here we go. Carrier. B7.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Sunk. And John, Andrew, you get the point because that was the board game Battleship. And
Ooh,
Andrew, you
sunk
wrote
my
Battleships.
fucking battleship.
All right, this one might be a little harder, but we'll see.
We'll see.
French Defense.
Ooh,
Okay.
yeah. Damn.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
What the fuck?
16 pieces.
Oh, okay, I get you.
Damn it. See, I don't know this one.
French Defense. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. 16 pieces.
It's pretty obvious when you think about it.
John, fucking ballsy.
I know, yeah.
He's calling
damn.
you out.
I know. Now I'm not gonna get it. I'm gonna be like, fuck, I knew it.
Do you have a guess? You want to guess Battleshits again?
Battleships was funny.
Where's that from? Oh, Harold and Kumar. And I was
Battleshits?
Like, yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
trying to figure out where the fuck I've heard
Yeah,
that.
the
before.
Battleships.
Andrew, you got an answer?
No.
John, you get the point because that is the board game chess, baby. 16 pieces. Harry Potter and the
I see.
Sorcerer's Stone. the
Damn,
finale.
I didn't know chess and checkers were on the table. Okay, I thought it was actual like.
They're on the board.
Okay, damn,
I
yeah.
thought it was something with dice.
Yeah, I was like, damn, what could it be? I was like, Trivial Pursuit. Like, I was trying to think of like Harry Potter.
All right, here we go. Here's the next one.
I get it.
Car game pieces. Spin to win. Retirement.
What the fuck?
Oh, I don't know.
Car game pieces.
Car game pieces. Spin to win.
Spin to win.
Retirement. I know a lot of people.
I don't know this one.
I know a lot of people at home right now are out and about. Loving it.
Out in a boot.
Okay, let me see what John texted because I got you blocked. I'm just kidding. Andrew, you get the point. The answer is life, the game Life, and John wrote sorry. Were you saying sorry because you didn't have the
Yeah, I
answer?
didn't have the
Okay,
answer.
no.
That's why, yeah.
So I didn't know it was spin to win, but I know that retirement is how it ends. And car game pieces. The other interesting thing is up until like the 80s, there was a square on the map called suicide.
Whoa.
And you would lose.
Holy shit.
Isn't that crazy? They got rid of it.
That for good reason. That's pretty dark.
All right, here we go. Here's the next one. Dirty.
Underwear.
Innuendo.
Innuendo.
I guess that's a good innuendo. Black and white. Dirty. Innuendo. Black and white.
Fuck. Innuendo. Black
I would say this is a very popular game now that a lot of people play. I mean, it's
Dirty. Innuendo. What was the third one?
black and white.
I think I got it.
Dirty. Innuendo. Black in your endo.
I don't know.
Black and
Shit.
white. Let's see. John, do you have a guess?
No.
Andrew, you get the point because that's Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, yeah.
baby!
Fuck. That's a fucking card game.
And John, hey, it showed up in board games. And I'm using my Google. Here we go. Here is the next here are the 3 keywords. This is a very like 60s game,
Can you
right?
use them in a sentence?
No. Here we go. Balance. Tower. Contrived from the Swahili word for build.
For build?
What? The fuck?
Balance. Tower.
okay,
Contrived
okay.
from the Swahili word for build. John knows Swahili. That's why this is unfair.
Hold on.
I will say you will have to spell this correctly. Don't be out there messing this up. You both get it right. It's Jenga.
Jenga Unchained, baby.
It's from the Swahili word kujenga, which means build. I feel like that was too easy. But
No,
listen.
I didn't know.
No,
I guess.
I had to really think for that one.
Here we go. Pawns. Stop your opponent's apology. Pawns. Stop your
Oh,
opponent's
fuck. I don't know this one.
apology.
I just put IDK.
IDK my BFF Jill. Do you remember that commercial?
No.
Oh my god, I'm so old. Do
Yeah.
you know? Do you
I'm
know?
older than you.
Well,
Just
do you
kidding.
know Had a Baby It's a Boy? Do you know that commercial? Or am I? That's me.
No.
It was for, what was it for? Southwestern Bell or something like that. But you used to have to pay to make phone calls.
Yeah, I
the collect
remember.
call. And do you remember that commercial where they'd be like, "What's your name?" And he didn't have money to share some news, so he said his name was Had a Baby It's a Boy, so that he could tell someone they had a baby and it's a boy.
Oh,
So
no,
it's
I
Had
don't
Baby
remember.
It's a Boy.
Is that 1-800-COLLECT or something?
I think so. All right, kids. Time for me to go to bed. John sent his answer was Risk. And Andrew, you get the point. That game is Sorry.
Sorry.
Fuck.
Apology,
I thought that was too easy for
Pawns,
the
stop
apology
your
part.
opponent's
Sorry,
apology.
baby.
Here's the next one. Shake,
Rattle and roll.
score, shout.
Ah.
This is I believe, the catchphrase for this game. Shake, score, shout, which is also my Friday out.
That rhymes.
You both get it right. That's Yahtzee. Yahtzee. We harmonized. You hear us. I'm trying to think of a music producer that's not canceled. I can't. Here we go. The next game, the next game. Here are the 3 words for it: cavity, king, gumdrop mountain.
Ooh, I don't know this.
Cavity, king, Gumdrop Mountain. You both get it right. The game is Candyland.
Candyman.
We should have played that game for Candyman. Here we go. Here's the next one. There's only 3 more, and I will not count because this is way too hard. I just put little dashes whenever you get it right.
What
so
the fuck?
I'm going to have to add them up
What's
at
the
the end.
point? Okay.
No, I'm writing them down. I'm not counting them down. I'll do it at the end. It'll be closer that way. It'll be like Squid Game.
Never seen it.
Resources, roads, hexagons. Resources, roads, hexagon.
Fuck. God damn it. I forgot what the name of this game was called.
This is a big board game.
Yeah, I know.
Resources, roads,
and hexagons.
hexagon. I bet a lot of listeners right now know it because this is a...
Well, I've played this one. I played it like recently at a game night. I just don't remember the fucking...
Wow, you played this game. I've only played this game once, and it was...
I don't have a guess for this.
Interesting.
I don't have the name of it. Because
so
I know I
John-
can't think of the name, but like...
But you know the game
but I know
probably.
the
Once
game,
I say
yeah.
it, you'll probably know it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Andrew wrote Civilization. The game is called Settlers of Catan.
Oh, yeah.
Catan,
Oh,
Big
fuck,
game.
Fuck that game.
Big game. Here we go.
Okay.
Here is the next one. Animals. Van Pelt.
Ooh.
Do not begin unless you intend to finish. Uh-oh.
Sex.
You both get the point. Jumanji. When my phone vibrated, I thought it was the drums from Jumanji. I will say that I guess this makes sense,
sequels?
but the fictionalized version of it on TV or in the film is better than the actual board game because I have the board game at home.
Yeah, and it's kinda boring.
over in like 6 minutes. That's how long
I used to love the board game as a kid, and then I played it with like...
so fast.
I played it with friends recently, and I was like, "Oop, I wish would have chose a better board game."
Well, I bought it because I was like, well, we've got a whole long time to kill, so let me buy this game. And then it was done in literally 10 minutes, and we are like, oh.
Yeah, you never
wanna
got
play,
to...
Want to play again?
You never got to get sucked into the jungle. You're like,
I didn't get
"There's no
sucked.
jungle."
Here we go. I'm going to do the count and find out who. So, John, you have.
I like how you said you weren't going to do this.
2. Well, now I am because there's one more question. We'll see how close it is. So, John, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Are you sure?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mm-hmm. Andrew, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, fucking shit.
So, John, you
I
can
thought you were
tie.
gonna
Andrew, you
stop
could
at
win.
8.
Here's the last 3 keywords. Space.
The Final Frontier.
The Final Frontier. Oh, wait. Space. Meteor shower. Zorgon. What board game is this?
There's such a fucking board game?
Space. Meteor shower. Zorgon.
I don't know this.
I don't even know if this is like...
Guess what? You're both big Favreau heads because you both guessed Zathura, and you're both right, which means, Andrew, you
Is
win.
Zathura a real fucking game?
Yeah, it's a real game.
Yeah, bitch.
I was just wondering.
They played it in the movie.
Learn your shit.
Which is probably more fun than it is in real life.
But yeah, so, well, I guess that's the end of this game. If you played any of these games at home, cool. They're very popular, so not surprising.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's get back to this board game. Was there anything... Ouija, I mean. We're not playing a game in front of us. Was there anything that really stood out to you? Did you have a favorite sequence in Ouija 2? I know the third act had a lot of the big scares, but I mean, Andrew, you already talked about when she opened her mouth real big and a demon put its arm in it, but that happens, and that's a pretty good moment. Was there any other things that really stood out to you that were really impressive or new or different? Maybe slingshot to the eye?
I appreciate the way the evil ghosts looked. They looked like tar people, like monsters, like they were made out of mud or some Scooby-Doo villains or some shit. But yeah, and then they had the bright yellow eyes.
Yeah.
Just really I think that was pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, it's a pretty short movie.
And that's kind of a new thread. In the original, they don't talk about the Polish Nazi doctor who also had kept imprisoning, people,
all these folk
in the home, and now it's a house filled with demons.
I also think it's like the most different that his ghost has ever looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like straight up monsters. Like,
yeah,
they're...
and I mean their dad doesn't because he's nice.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's good. He's a good ghost.
He's a good guy.
It's kind of creepy to think that all these ghosts are watching them like 24/7. There's even a point where the older sister says like, "Stop talking." They're here.
Yeah. That part was, I don't know, because it seems like it's kind of like the movie's tone goes to like from 0 to 100, like towards at the very end, like it turns into a full blown horror movie, and I guess that's cool. Like, I don't know, it makes it for a very exciting watch, definitely. But now in retrospect, and then kind of seeing it, in the background right now, I was like, whoa, it is kind of like a little bit of a jarring twist. Not a jarring twist, but a jarring like switch, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it does turn into a full-blown horror movie.
It's constant towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right, though. I think the build-up to that is pretty cool. Like, I think we're watching a scene right now where, like, the Doris character, played by Lulu Wilson, the little girl, she has, whenever her eyes are white, it's just kind of creepy because it's almost like they're not focusing on her. Like, she's always out of focus. And it's always like
good.
Something else in the background.
It happens in Midnight Mass.
And you know what? I think that's like one of the she delivers one of the top creepy kid
monologues in this one.
Perform. I talked about The Omen, but the bad seed.
Batch.
Like there's a lot of the bad batch. There's a lot of examples of
The Good Son.
Really, children. I don't know about that, but
That's Macaulay Culkin.
Oh yeah, a lot of like children who are creepy, but also
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Oh my God, no, she doesn't.
No,
that was Andrew. He just yelled that at me.
Talking about The Exorcist, Regan.
No, Andrew. I'm offended. But I'm just kidding. She doesn't listen to this pod. I don't care. But there is a lot of that which I really appreciated because I feel like that could have gotten really campy.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But it actually is very effective. And I mean, there's even moments here where she's out of focus, like looking at the boyfriend, like crooked, smile and everything.
Yeah, her face. That's probably one of my favorite moments. Is like because that actually like kind of gives you a little bit of a chills or something because you're kind of like whoa, like because it's
look to your right.
She's not in well again because she's not in focus. You just see her in the background like her
twitching.
Jaw, like her jaw starts like like popping open and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's pretty creepy. I also think that she has like whenever she's describing how it feels like to die via strangulation,
being strangled.
Yeah,
and he does get strangled.
Yeah,
and it's that is a really cool effective like horror scene right there, and I think it's like again it's that little slow buildup of like things are about to get real. Things are about to get real.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty freaking great horror all around. Especially that it feels like that third act when it starts goes by too fast. And I guess maybe I had to watch the first one, but even watching this one, I don't really understand the sewing of the mouth thing.
And I think that
stop her from whispering.
Yeah, stop her from whispering, basically. But
and that was something that he was shoehorned into because in the first movie that is a follow up to this movie. The whole thing was to unsew her mouth, like to rip her mouth open so she could scream and bring all these demons and stuff.
Oh, shit.
So they have to, it is a big, I mean, it's not, I guess it's a retcon in a way, but they needed to end this movie with her getting her mouth shut. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then, there's also like the doll. There's a lot of like allusions to it. But yeah, I feel like that, I think that maybe if this movie has any faults, it's the fact that it had to be, so related to the first one.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think it's even effective if you didn't watch the first one. Like I feel like they made it in a way where it's incredibly still claustrophobic and small in a good way, where you really are just kind of enveloped in their I would say very specific situation because I think Andrew talked about the fact that they're already kind of a hustle for fortune telling and speaking to people in the afterlife. And it just makes sense that it's them, in this situation where they just are so reticent to believe in it. And in a way, it is kind of this idea that you don't want to ever let go or not talk to people who are passed on. Like you just want them to be around forever. So why wouldn't you buy a Ouija board?
Yeah.
And talk to them? And I think that's what really makes this a super, super effective, thing. But yeah, I mean, still, and I think the most surprising thing about this movie is just how maybe deep it is compared to other horror movies. I know
Like
Mike
commercial
Flanagan,
ones.
Yeah, Flanagan does this really well in his long form stuff and Doctor Sleep, which is kind of long form. It's like a 3-hour director's
it's a
cut.
very long movie.
But this movie is like 90 something minutes. It's a tight movie and it is very. It's a very emotional movie in a way that's not like melodramatic, where you're kind of like, oh my god, like people are throwing themselves on the floor and crying and stuff.
And I think Flanagan has that. Flanagan has like, especially from watching Midnight Mass, like you kind of, there's something horrific in the endings of some of the stuff that he does, where it's just like, like in this one, the character of Lena, the older sister, ends up in an insane asylum because she kills her. Like her mom and her sister, sort of her sister,
and she's still attached to her younger sister, which is when she's crawling the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly. And so like those are like true horror endings, like kind of like the ending of Midnight Mass, which is like a little bit more on the emotional side, but still a very horrific ending.
I feel like there's also still some leash to make another Ouija movie, which would be interesting, but there is time between this movie. There's like decades between this movie and the first Ouija.
The first one, yeah.
It
like
is
40 years, right, or something.
Yeah, it's still a while because she's an old lady in the mental institute in the first movie.
It takes place like in the 60s, 67.
That makes sense.
So like the new one or the first one took place when the year it was released. Like
and in the first one, the there's a bit of a twist too in the first one where the main ghost is someone they call Mother, and then you find out that she was actually trying to protect them from the door, like the scary little girl or something like that. But I'd be interested. I feel like now, especially since this one and the first Ouija, the Ouija verse seems to be really focused on this family. So I don't really know what they could do, beyond them. I wonder if there's a way to expand on this. Do y'all have any ideas for what they would do differently in another Ouija movie? I feel like they should get away from this family. Maybe
for sure,
because I mean maybe there's more sister stuff, like sister stuff. There's a lot of loose ends, I guess. But
I guess so. I just really I sped read the fucking summary from the first movie.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. I guess it is like super duper connected. Like
it's way connected. So I don't know if if the horror is truly that house or if the Ouija board is even haunted. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You don't really know. I think like a potential third story, even though I don't really want one. A potential third story would be you can play with some cabin in the woods type of tropes, like just take it away from this house.
Yeah.
And an isolated incident possibly, like maybe I don't know. I do want the character work to go on. I think that's just a testament to what Mike Flanagan does. Like he does really good character work. So I would hope like, some damaged person in the third one, like, just brings a Ouija board along and then they, summon a bunch of other stuff, but somewhere different, like maybe at a beach house or I don't know. I think at this point you can only change the location. Cause like, I think both stories, the first one and this one are very similar in terms of what the board can do. And it's basically, at the end of the day, you're summoning spirits. Yeah. So you can only twist that so much, other than like maybe the location.
That's true. And in Origin of Evil, we already talked about it, but she doesn't even need the board towards the end. She just needs blood.
Yeah, the board was actually like not very present in this whole movie, like other than like the beginning and stuff. So. And
in the first one, they use that eye hole. No, it's not an eye hole, but they use that. I guess that
whatever that thing is.
Yeah, a lot.
The little lens.
Look through the hole. Look through the glass hole.
Through the looking glass.
Hole.
I was looking into the origin of the Ouija board, and I think that it would be best as a period piece because
when they first came up with the Ouija.
Well, it looks like there's a lot of origins in China, but there's also this really interesting thing about this becoming really popular after the Civil War because so many people had died. Mediums just use this board all day long so people could communicate to dead soldiers. And I think, that's like a super rich, textured thing. Use a Ouija board, but Hasbro probably wouldn't like it because it wouldn't look like the one that they have. It'd probably look all janky or whatever.
Yeah, I think that I love that little concept at the end where she's making the Ouija board in like herself.
Yeah, that's weird.
And so I think it would be cool to have like a group of kids sneak into this place that was like either like the Vatican, like we're gonna do one here at the Vatican or something like that, or we're gonna do it in a graveyard or whatever. I think you can kind of find something in that sense, or like we're gonna do it in this crazy cathedral or this church that and they end up doing something like that could maybe spark a little bit something that's more physical rather than just like, oh, I see dead people again,
Yeah, and it's this idea. Well, the Ouija board's supposed to be the way that the dead communicate to you. It's just, also demons, I guess, happen to do it too. So it'll be interesting to know what the limits of that is. And it seems like the progression is they talk to you, then they go inside of your mouth. It's a pretty big jump. So you better watch out. Or I guess
close your mouth.
I guess it hurts your neck first.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Then it hurts your back. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Are y'all on board with these Hasbro? It's weird that
I don't know.
I mean, a big crossover between Battleship, Ouija,
Transformers,
the Hasbroverse,
Transformers, Real Steel,
G.I. Joe,
the Barbie movie.
No, just the board games.
Okay, fine. Candyland. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Wreck-It Ralph.
I don't know. Like,
it seems
weird.
Yeah.
It's like a stretch IP. Transformers was great. Like, there's a lot of really good
Transformers
stuff.
is not great.
Well, yeah, all of them are.
The first one is okay.
Michael Bay did that one too.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I don't really like if they're gonna turn out good movies. Anything can be made either into a movie. Technically,
I'm not even joking. They are right now. I believe they're holding treatments for a Slinky movie.
Clue.
And there's another movie, and I was like, how are they? Rubik's Cube movie or something? Yeah. Like, Hasbro has a lot of Rubik's stories
Cube?
out.
Stretch Armstrong is another toy that's been in the works for forever. If this is an example.
Operation is just someone fucking
doing Operation.
Yeah, all day.
It's Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. But the person has a red nose.
It's like
it buzzes. It starts killing the
Rudolph of people.
You've got a funny bone? No, you got a wishbone in you?
Isn't it zap just like the doctors? They just shoot backwards.
Yeah. Squid Game.
It's just, yeah, exactly.
This is a good example though. If they're gonna be making movies, make them good.
Yeah,
and that's the only reason why I watched this one is because Mike Flanagan is attached to it, and he's a great talent. But like you were talking about sequel ideas, but if Mike Flanagan isn't attached to the sequel, then it's gonna suck.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really different. It seems like though that Flanagan's found a really great creative home for him at Netflix, where they let him do
whatever he
wants. Like he talks about how he had for 19 years the straight up script for Gerald's Game. And everyone's kept saying, no, it's just someone in a room. And then Netflix was like, okay, what do you want to do? And they seem to be greenlighting all his stuff. They're good. They're so good.
Everything he does is gold.
I hope he goes back to theatrical feature films. Yeah. I know that Dr. Sleep didn't do so well in the box office. So I don't know if that's affecting. Because sometimes, director jail is just that happens. It's just,
But I don't think he's in director. I think he is just
the director of the first Ouija is probably in director jail.
I feel like he is just enjoying the freedom of Netflix because he talks about studio notes a lot, and even for Dr. Sleep, he got so many that he was like, "I'm going to make my own director's cut," And they were like, "Okay, we'll put it on HBO Max." But I bet he just really loves the freedom because I think it's him, Intrepid Pictures, which I think is now he's a partner in that production company.
Right.
But I feel like he's got the crew he always uses now. He's got his little rotating cast of repertory actors he's using now. I don't know if he would ever really leave that situation because I don't really think of him outside of doing a Stephen King movie that he can't get the rights to at Netflix. I don't know if he would ever leave. I think he's doing an adaptation now, I believe, for Netflix again, right?
It's also he's working on two things. It's called The Midnight Club, another midnight thing. He loves midnight.
The Witching Hour. That's not the Witching Hour.
And I think he's doing The Fall of the House of Usher, which is just an 8 miniseries of Edgar Allan Poe stories.
Edgar Allan Poe. He's going to the OG Stephen King.
Damn.
That's pretty fucking awesome.
For whom doth the bell toll?
I wanted it to be about the musician Usher.
Oh yeah, what was it? The House of Usher.
House of Usher.
Hey,
let it burn. Yeah, exactly.
He finds Justin Bieber in episode 2. We're super. Well, let's go around the horn. Final thoughts on Ouija 2, Origin of Evil. Andrew, open your mouth so I can put my demon fist in it.
Oh shit! Damn, demon fist.
That's an idea for
this movie. Didn't do too hot at the box office, eh?
No,
It did.
It made
well,
okay.
I'm
These
saying
movies-
I'm not saying yeah, sure it did okay, but it didn't.
So
do
this
good.
movie made over $80 million at the box office. It cost $9, so it did pretty well. But the first one cost $5 and made over $100. So it didn't do as good as the first one, but it still made like 10 times
So,
what it
what you're
cost.
saying is that there's life. Okay.
Yeah.
There's-
Everyone got paid, and then everyone got residuals.
Demon fisted.
Yeah.
Definitely don't make another one unless Mike Flanagan's attached to it.
Or Michael Bay.
Two Mikes.
Yeah, I don't know. If Michael Bay's not attached to it.
Is Michael Bay like a Hasbro guy now, or I don't know? Because that's interesting.
That is pretty funny.
He's a hack.
I don't know. I think he likes
I'm just kidding.
Platinum Dunes puts out.
He's a Hasbro.
Didn't Platinum Dunes do?
He's also on Netflix too with that fucking Ryan Reynolds movie,
Oh
right?
yeah, like 6 something.
Yeah, it's one of the most
The Chicago
watched.
6.
Trial of the Chicago 7 was a wait. Trial of the Chicago 6.
I said the prequel.
Okay. Okay.
But no, yeah. I think Mike Flanagan alone is enough to
get ass in seats.
Yeah. Well, I meant to just check this movie out, especially if you've watched something like Midnight Mass recently, which is I think his opus so far. It's really, really good. I think it might be the subject matter that really intrigues me, but I think it's creators like this are so good that they warrant a revisit of their works and just to see their journey. And I think it's a really cool. I mean, this is why he was able to make Midnight Mass because of the exposure from this movie and stuff like that. So I'm glad that he's making things his own and that that Netflix is giving him what he wants because he deserves it. And I think he's going to be a super underrated creative mind when everything is said and done. We're going to be like, damn, and people are going to discover him later and be like, oh, fuck, this guy was onto something.
Yeah.
And it all starts with, movies like this.
Yeah, I would say a surprisingly prolific director for what he's been able to do because Midnight Mass is a really long series and Haunting a Hill House long series, like those are a lot of commitments and time and but yeah, John, what do you think about Ouija, Origin of Evil?
Ouija.
Ouija.
Ouija. Are we talking about Ganja? The Origin of Evil?
Ouija! Like that.
Ganja, the Origin of Evil. But that's Pineapple Express. That's the beginning of that movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I think this is actually, like I said earlier, this is a.
I thought you were going to say his opus.
This Morris, it looks like a butt, like this little sticker.
This turning you on? Should I turn it over, you freak?
It's a really fun movie. I think it's not it's not obviously perfect, but it's a really good, nice 90-minute horror movie. That's
tight.
That's PG-13. It's very accessible, and it's got some good scares in it, and the characters are surprisingly likable, and you kind of connect with them, and then you feel whenever one goes. Maybe not that father guy, but you feel when one goes. Great flick. I think I think what Drew said is, and what you were been saying is, I think it's just what Mike Flanagan is like when he has his touch to it. It's just he knows how to make good stories when it comes to horror. I mean, they're all they're all basically about the human condition, and then the horror springs out of that. I love that about him, and I'm going to continue watching stuff that he makes in the future, and I'm very excited to go back and watch other past Flanagan movies that I haven't seen before. As for the Ouija series itself, whatever.
Let's ask the Ouija board. Should we make another Ouija movie?
And we just went to yes immediately. Yeah, just shot to it.
We didn't even touch the board. It's scary.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm kind of neutral when it comes to. I mean, again, it's I'm going back to my first reaction when I first heard about this movie. It's a movie about a board game.
Yeah.
And so it's cool, I guess, if you make it good, why not? And then, but mainly, I think you're exploiting it too much if you go to a third movie, I guess, in my opinion.
And you know what? I was thinking about my pitch earlier for a Civil War Ouija movie, and they would never make it because they couldn't sell Ouija boards from that. It has to look like a Ouija board, and that's the only ones they'll probably make, But yeah, I thought this was an incredibly good movie, and I really the surprising depth in this is fantastic. There's questions about, existential questions about what happens when we die, acceptance of someone being gone forever. And that's the thing about Flanagan movies, even though there are some really bad characters, you still understand why they're doing everything, through grief, or even when they're doing some really fucked up shit, like it's always because of whatever emotional state they're in that is 100% relatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, all of that is in this hour-and-a-half movie, and all things that he probably felt really strongly about exploring. And much like, Stephen King and all of those other Edgar Allan Poe, it sometimes brings up more questions than answers, which is great, I think, in a movie. And I think that's what makes this feel really good, is those questions are being asked but not necessarily answered, which is, that's life. You never really know.
That's life.
Well, let us know what you think about Ouija, and I guess everyone go buy a Ouija board and see what's up. Find out
exactly.
Find out what's in your house.
Fuck around and find out.
Fuck around, find out.
Put some ice on your neck. Make sure make sure your back is
make sure
straight.
that throat's lubed up, because that fist ain't going down smooth.
You have two options.
All these ghosts are ashy.
You get
they don't apply lotion to their arms.
You can do two things.
Cut your shit up.
Sew your mouth shut or open it wide for a demon. Two things only.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because and also those arms were hairy as fuck. And you're like, damn. You're just fucking flocked throat. Now it's just flocked
Andrew and I are taking a trip together, and we're sharing a bedroom for one of those nights or two of those nights. I'm going to be in his ear all night just... It's going to look creepy as fuck.
I'm going to keep trying to shove my fist down his throat.
We're going to be Ouija 2ing it up for TikTok.
We'll be can you take both fists?
Yeah. I don't even feel... Right? If that happened to me and the demon was doing that, I'd be like, you in yet? Demon?
And then you're able to say it without even
I'm gonna look him in his eye and swallow his fist. Andrew, what do you have to plug?
Check out the Countdown Strikes Back. We've been recording a lot of really, really cool Star Wars content. Whether that's Babu's Book Club or we're Star Wars Visions. Even we're getting close to the Book of Boba Fett.
Another book?
We're getting pretty.
Oh my gosh! Is that
close.
Part of the Babu's Book Club, or is
Babu's Book of Boba Fett?
Oh my! Hey, Babu's alive during the Boba Fett series. BT Dubs.
Check out Director Showdown with Brendan Adam.
Yeah.
They've been putting in that work. They've been working that ass off overtime.
Speaking of Michael Bay, they're doing Michael Bay now.
Yeah. V. Snyder. Yeah. Dawn of Justice.
BVS.
I think you know what I'm doing. I'm doing the Transformers episode. Another Hasbro.
That fucking sucks. I'm just kidding. That you have to watch that movie. I'm sorry.
Hey, the first Transformers isn't bad.
I know, and I'm sure
Chevy.
Brent and Adam will make it a fun time.
I will say maybe Transformers #1 product placement campaign in
they're like the Pepsi machine got up and fucking left. And then go check out Juicy J on the Dirt Sheet Radio. If you love not this John, the juicier John.
Yeah, you've heard him on an ep. He's been on
John Padero. Yeah, he was on Army of the Dead.
Yes.
Oh, Army of the Dead. Yeah, you're right.
He was on Army of the Dead for our spooktacular Spooktober. Yeah, I was gonna see how many more spook stuff I can do, but
let's not say that word anymore.
Yeah, it's true. Go check that stuff out. If you're interested, get vaccinated. Wear a mask.
Hey, if you're not interested, get vaccinated.
What?
You're saying if you're interested, get vaccinated? I'm saying if you're not interested...
Yeah, you should
get vaccinated. Yeah, either way, if you're interested or not, get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Wear a mask, wear appropriate, get your third boosters for all you Pfizers. We really hit the jackpot there. We're going to be protected as fuck.
We're going to be boosted up.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, I hit my growth spurt.
All right. John, what do you have to plug?
I think Drew just took all of it.
I didn't say Countdown to Infinity.
Oh yeah, Countdown to Infinity. There you go.
I guess I just did.
This the Marvel podcast, Delphin and Sophie are doing some funny, spectacular things on that one. I think they're just ending What If at the time of this recording.
Ponder the question.
Ponder the question. What if
Uatu.
And then
Uatu, Origin of Evil.
Oh, that's a good one. What if Uatu had an origin of evil?
What if Uatu had a Ouija
board? yeah, go check that out. I think Eternals will be coming out pretty soon. By the time maybe when
excited.
this releases,
Yeah.
You'll probably see Drew and I on that podcast for that episode.
And then a month later, there's fucking Spider-Man time.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Damn.
Maybe fucking
Every month.
Hawkeye
Book
actually
of,
too.
Book of Boba Fett too.
Wait,
Shit.
Hawkeye too.
We're about to pop our load off.
There you go. Yeah, and also get check out the stuff at the Patreon. That's some pretty cool stuff. You get to hear this shit early, like 6 weeks early, before anyone else.
People listen to this when Ouija came out.
Yeah. 2016.
Yeah, the ones on the Patreon, they've been listening to this episode for years.
And get vaxxed, get waxed, and get X-laxed.
Head to patreon.com. And hey, this is our new season. So rate and review it, share it with people. It goes a long way. And we're so excited because you're going to hear us next week. You're going to hear us the week after that. You're going to hear us
the week
after that. This is truly the origin of evil.
For your
Bye,
ears.
everyone.